Through Our Lens, the podcast where we focus on empowering the African American community. Today, y'all, I have my guest, David Carnell McGriff II, who just by chance happens to be my best friend. I love him down. We go way back. One thing about me, no matter how or where I am in life, I never forget about the people who have helped me along the way. I remember at one point in time, I didn't have a job. Didn't have a job, and y'all know the bills be billing, okay? And I had two children at the time. And Dave was like, "You need a stub." I said, "You want me to do what?" He was like, "You need the sub. I help you get in there." And y'all, he did exactly what he said he was gonna do. And when I tell you, I enjoy it. Now that I have a primary job, I still sub. I've been subbing on and off since 2012, but I would have never ever been able to sub or even thought about subbing if it wasn't for my boy Dave. So, Dave, welcome.
Hey, how are you, Tanisha?
Welcome. So today, y'all, the title is The Missing Voice. Why African American Male Teachers Matter. So, can you briefly introduce yourself and your connection to the topic of African American male teachers?
Hey, well, Dave, whatever you want to call me. I've been teaching for going on year 21. I'm a history teacher. I specialize in AP African American Studies, 21st Century Leadership, Civics, and AP World History. Education means a lot to me. At the end of the day, education means a lot to me. It is a foundation that my family was built upon. My grandparents on my dad's side had 10 children, and my grandfather said all of his children would graduate high school no matter what, and it happened. Back in that time, and same on my mother's side. They all graduated high school as well. But, just to have that base or foundation of education pushed me to continue my education to be an educator. And I never wanted to be an educator. And that was the thing about it.
You didn't want to be an educator?
Did not want to be an educator. When I went to undergrad at the Johnson C. Smith University, I majored in political science, minored in law, so I wanted to go to law school. I've always been afraid to take tests, so I didn't take the LSAT. So I got a job. When I was in college, I was tutoring. I was what they call an avid tutor in Charlotte Mecklenburg School. And what happened was I liked it. And I stuck with it a little bit. And then when I graduated, I got a teacher assistant position. And I was coaching football. Did that for a year. Then we came to Lancaster from Charlotte because I was with Coach Benny McMurray. And I worked my way up, got certified and everything, and I've been locked in education going on 21 years.
21 years.
Yeah.
So you have seen so many of the changes over the years.
Yes. There have been a lot of educational changes, going from using just a whiteboard to now everybody one-to-one technology. So, yeah.
So the title, The Missing Voice, is provocative. In your view, what makes the voice of African American male teachers so critical, and why is it considered missing in many educational settings?
Well, for me, growing up, I only had one African American, two African American teachers. One was in middle school, which was Richard Pringle, and one was in high school, Colonel Robert Manning. And I learned so much from Colonel Manning that, it meant a lot to me. And having there also Coach Floyd White, who was our assistant principal, there too. And, so I had to go back. Those Coach White, Mr. Benjamin, in elementary school, Mr. Jackson, they were in leadership roles. And just to see how, they encouraged us to do great things in our lives and about going to college. The missing voice for me for African American in the schools are the African American male teachers. And I'm not just saying on the high school level because we need more and more in the elementary school levels, and that plays a big role because if you see these men being progressing at a young age, and then you asking questions, how can I be great like this too? I'm not saying hey everybody needs to be a teacher, but everybody needs somebody to look up to every now and then. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. Everybody needs us. In my opinion, growing up, if I would have um, saw more teachers that looked like me or my dad or whatever, I'm going to be all around them, trying to see what's going on, trying to understand them, and they bring such a different perspective when it comes to life events as well.
So let's paint a picture for our listeners. What are the current statistics regarding the representation of African American male teachers in schools today, and how has it changed over time?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they're higher. They're higher from what I saw in the past. I know where I teach at, it's probably about 80%.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
80%.
that's good.
80% from our leadership on down as well. Over the years, the role of the African American teacher has changed. Has changed. At one time, you looked at them just being a disciplinarian. Now you're looking at them being nurturers, father figures, things of that nature. You have more and more African American males going into leadership, becoming the head principals, becoming the principals, becoming superintendents in the case of here in Lancaster County. Um, in other districts, you're looking at African American male teachers not just being the coaches, because what people fail to realize about a coach, and I coach, uh, about an African American coach is, you know, when you're at a school that has, well, just any school, any kind of coach, you know, you want to be able to relate to your kids. And you want your kids to be able to relate to you, because you never know what they got going on at home. Some of them don't have that father figure at home. Some of them rather be at school than be at home because of what they got going on at home. And you try to be there, you try to nurture them, you try to talk to them, you try to be their outlet. You laugh with them, you joke with them, but you teach them and you coach them. And that's what I've always done when I was coaching and stuff. They always, they used to get on my nerves a lot, all this and that. But to this day, I can go see a kid that I've coached or what made you, and they've said, man, coach, I appreciate you for what you did for me. I appreciate you being there for me because I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help. I'm here to help you become a productive citizen in this country, in this world. Either if you want to go to college, want to go to military, want to go to trade school, I'm here to help you. And I've always told them, if you need me, call me, find me, and I will find a way to help you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I remember like so many students. They loved you, Dave. They loved you because that realness that you presented. They loved you because you're not so uptight. You laugh, you joke. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate teachers like you as well because I know the difference that you make. I've seen it. Those kid. One thing about especially African American kids, they gonna tell it. Okay, they're gonna talk about the teachers and how they're treated and how they show up in the classroom. They're gonna tell it. And one thing about it, them kids love some Dave. Okay. So, what unique perspectives and experiences do African American male teachers bring to the classroom that might be missed in their absence?
Well, like I said before, for some, that father figure or that positive reinforcement. If a kid's been beat down a lot, mentally or verbally, a lot of African American male teachers, for me, I know what it feels like. You know, you don't want a teacher that's going to just sit there and just belittle you. You say, you're going to fail, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. No, for me, with me, and I can only talk about me. I tell kids, I'm gonna help you find a way to pass. If you meet me halfway, I'm gonna meet you the other half, and we're gonna find a way to help you pass. And not just in my class. I've helped kids with other classes as well. Uh, we can't. I don't believe in leaving a kid behind. I don't believe in letting a kid not have a chance to be the best that they can be. To be judgmental towards a child and say, well, they're not gonna do it anyway. No, let's work with them a little bit. Let's try to be a little bit more positive towards them, things of that nature, and we understand what's going on with them. Let's look at what's happening. Let's look at what's happening. Let's look at you don't know what their family dynamic is.
That's true.
You don't know what their family dynamic. I know for me, I grew up in a 2-parent household. My parents worked. My dad was in the military. My parents divorced when I was in the 10th grade, but my daddy never missed a beat. So you don't know what they got going on. Even in the socio-economic environment that we have right now in this country, you don't know if kids are eating. With the price of food, with the way the job market is, with the way the economy is, you don't know what are they doing. And there's been many of the times that I have gone into my own pocket to try to help a child. I don't ask for anything in return. Well, I do ask for something in return. That you do your best. Because if you do your best, then that's going to be good enough for me. And I had a couple kids that graduated this past year, where I teach at, and to be honest with you, I had them a couple years before. I didn't have them this year, but they kept coming by my classroom. McGriff. I having to kick them out of my classroom. McGriff, I'm coming in my class and I'm sitting down and my kids come in. I'm calling her. I'm like, why are you in my class? Man, I just want to see what you was up to, man. Get out of here, man. Go to your class. I'm asking my teacher if I finish my work. I go, no, don't come back here. Go to your class. But to see the group that I started with at the school I'm at now graduate really brought tears to my eyes, because as a teacher, you love to see the accomplishments of your children, of the kids that you taught, man, and it's just amazing just to see them go and grow. When my kids go, they grow and they glow. So, and I love that about them.
So how is it finding balance with the things you see that these kids are dealing with?
So one thing about me, as a teacher and as a coach, I talk to my kids, have conversations with my students, and I have an open door policy. Hey, if you need to talk 1-on-1, come and talk to me. If you have an issue trying to get something or need something, come and talk to me. Let's have that conversation. It's about building relationships. As an educator, and as a coach, you have to build a relationship with kids, because kids don't trust everybody, and you have to earn their trust. So that's how I do it. And that's how I've seen it done. I've seen the best of the best do it. And I was always taught that if you can just reach one, that's all that matters. Because one thing I've learned about that, and I took that into perspective, that one that I reach will talk to another one, who will talk to another one, who will talk to another one. They all fall right in line in that circle, and you're able to reach multiples.
I like that. So how does having an African American male teacher impact the academic performance and overall well-being of all students, not just African American students?
And it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I know for me, I don't know how any other teacher is really. I don't. I've observed a few, but I don't know how any other teachers really are. But for me, I demand a lot. I demand you to get your work done. Be present. And when I talk about being present, not just physically present, but mentally present. And that plays a big role, because if you can be there physically, but they're not mentally. If you have challenges, let's talk about it. A lot of that's the thing about it. I feel as a black man, as a black male, I may not have gone through a lot of the stuff that you've gone through, but I may know somebody who has, and I'm able to connect with you through them somehow. And I have a good friend of mine from college, Michael Washington, and Mike is a very successful person in IT, very successful. But we talk a lot. We talk about it. We talk about education a lot. We talk about the role that the black man plays with these children. You know, his company. He took a role with his company going to mentor students at Johnson C. Smith, where we went to college at, and he's been able to help get these kids once they graduate jobs in this big company. You know, just by doing that. But we have these weekly conversations, weekly maybe 1 or 2 weeks out the month conversations, and they're long conversations. You're talking about 2 3 hours long about education, about the role of the students, how to help the students, what's happening in the community, you know, what's happening in our community, what's happening in the overall community, because we want every kid to succeed. We want every kid to have what they need when they leave. So yeah.
How does the presence of African American male teachers impact students, particularly young African American boys, in terms of academic achievement, social emotional development, and future aspiration? Can you share any specific examples or stories?
Um, when I was teaching middle school, I started teaching middle school. When I got into the classroom, rough times, rough times. But just you have to just show them. If they see you, if you come and you show it with your best, them kids go show it with their best. That's what I learned. If you show it with your best, them kids go show it with their best. And what I mean is, as a teacher, come in there with a positive black man. Come in there with a positive attitude. You know, you don't have to have the shirt and tie on or whatever, but show them how that you can dress. Show them that they can dress decent. Show them that you coming in, you caring. You know, me and my kids, man, we would always just talk about. I come in there on the money. The guy always talking trash about my football team because I let him know I'm a Cowboys fan. Oh, Miss McGriff, y'all horrible. Y'all this, y'all that. And cut it out. I say, all right, now I'm a fade just because you're talking like that. Because you're talking about my team, I'm a fade today. But you know, just find a balance with them. You know, you show up for them. Go to some of their activities. Go to a football game. Go to a basketball game. I've always taught out of town, so I would stay late because I don't went to a game to watch one of my kids play. I don't went to an event to support my kids. I don't did this. I don't did that, and I'm tired the next morning. But it's worth being tired. It's worth being tired because what does that kid gonna say, man? You know, I had a game, Mr. McGriff, he don't popped up at the game, you know. I saw him in the stands eating popcorn and stuff like that. So, you know, this stuff like that.
So, what are some of the primary factors contributing to the underrepresentation of African American men in the teaching profession?
Well, a lot of it, in my opinion, is it's financial. The money aspect of it, because the money, a lot of times they don't pay teachers. They don't pay teachers. I'm blessed because I'm making money now. I'm 21 years in. You know, I'm 21 years in. But teachers need to make a little bit more. A lot of black males are thinking that, hey, I can go do this and that, and I don't have to be a teacher. Teacher's not for me, and that's understandable. A lot of colleges um, have don't have they've got rid of their educational programs. So what's happening is, you know, states like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia have alternative certification programs, and sometimes it may be feels like it's a little overwhelming, but the end result is, you know, you become a certified teacher. Um, I feel that, you know, a lot of black males have not had positive black male teachers sometimes, and maybe that's for them. They don't want to do it, or they just want to coach. You know, it's so difficult to think and to understand, because you never know what goes on in somebody's mind when you ask these type of questions, and you'll never get one particular answer. Everybody's going to have a different answer when it comes to this. So you just have to just, I guess, just figure it out. They have to. You have to do some soul searching.
Mm.
You have to do some soul searching. Like I said, I never want to be an educator, but when the thing happened, and I started, working in the schools and coaching and stuff, it was almost like God say, I need to talk to you here. And then when he talks to you here, you have to listen here too. Not listen here, but listen here. And it helps you to understand what his overall plan is.
Mm. So, what kind of support systems, mentorship programs, or resources are needed to attract, retain, and empower more African American men to pursue and thrive in teaching careers?
So, mentorships. I know Claflin University. I think Clemson has it too. I don't know for sure. It's the Call Me Mister program, and it's a program to help young black men become black teachers, especially on the elementary level.
Really? So they have programs?
Yeah, it was a program. This was been years ago. I don't know if if they still have it, but mentorship, and you need to converse. Have off campus meetings with fellow colleagues, just to uplift each other. To talk about it. You don't have to stay on campus all the time and be in a classroom in the meeting all day. I've gone out to dinner with colleagues, things of that nature, just or had this phone conversations off just to keep uplifting. We as teachers, as African American teachers, and just teachers, period, need a support system.
Ooh.
You need a support system, because here's the thing that people don't realize: you can pour so much into a kid, but who's pouring back into you? And when you go, if nobody's pouring back into you, when you go to your job, you're going to go to your job as a cup half filled, instead of that full cup what you need to be. So what happens? You don't show up the way you need to show up. You don't show up for the kids that you show up for. Okay? And sometimes you need to take a break. You need a mental health day. Go to the doctor. That's one of the things. Go to the Your health plays a big role, because if you're not healthy, you're not going to be there for your kids. That's how it is. But mental health does play a big role in this too. Make sure you're all right. Talk to somebody. Talk to your friends. But take time for you. Again, got to take time for you.
I'm glad that you said that. I think it might have been a few years back. I didn't know the lady, but I heard about a lady that was a teacher that committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, like, she probably showed up to the classroom every day smiling, entertaining the kids, and she might have other stuff, she might have other things going on impacting her mental. But people probably didn't know it, because she's so busy just showing up, showing up.
Absolutely. And for that, teaching is very stressful. Teaching is very stressful. There was a principal in Charleston, South Carolina, I think at North Charleston High School. He, the head principal, he was working at Walmart part time, just to make sure that kids were fed. You have some schools like that have laundry rooms that'll wash kids' clothes, but the kids can't do it, because it's such a community. Teaching is not. You're not just a teacher. You're here to help your community. You're here to uplift. Your school is not a school. It's a community. It's a community, and a lot of teachers don't understand that or get that sometimes, and that's fine, because they leave work, they go home, and they whatever. I leave. I stay a little bit. I talk to my kids. Then I have to go do what I have to do, but they're always on my mind. I get emails all the time about assignments and about this, about that. I had the kid email me this past year, and I just he got too comfortable. He said, "Yo, Unc." So yeah, he said, "Yo, Unc, is this due today?" I said, "Man." I said, "Yes, it's due." This, yeah. So every time I would see him, I'd be like, "What up, nephew?" He'd be like, "What up, Unc?" So you want your kids to be comfortable in their own skin. As teachers, we have to be comfortable in our own skin, but not to cross boundaries as well, because that's another story within itself.
So, what role can communities, parents, and current educators play in encouraging young African American men to consider teaching as a viable and rewarding career path?
Let them know that they're needed. Let them know that they're needed.
Mm.
Um, Let them know that they're needed, because you have to let people know that they're needed and that they're wanted in certain job paths. Black males are wanted and they're needed. They're needed. Not to say anybody else isn't needed, but they're needed. They're needed because we need people to show up. That's going to show up for the kids. That's going to show up and encourage these kids. If this child doesn't have a father at home, who's going to show them how to tie a necktie?
Mm.
Who's gonna help them learn about the proper way just to have a conversation? You know what I mean? You know, this upcoming year I'm teaching a leadership class, and I want to talk about how to lead, not just how to lead in the classroom, but how to lead outside the classroom. How to lead when you go home, how to show up as a leader in your house, how to show up as a leader in your community, in your churches, how to show up as just saying, I got to lead, even if you're leading your little brother or your sister, how to lead.
Wow, that's good.
How to lead, because we want to create our kids to be leaders,
Mm-hmm.
not to be followers. My students will be leaders one day. They will lead this country one day. They will never follow, but they will lead. They will make changes that are needed to be made in this country, in this state, or any other state they go to. When they go to college or if they go into the workforce, they will go in there as leaders, because they will have the mindset and mentality to be leaders. And if they choose to be educators, it's because they have the mindset to be leaders. Leadership, the mindset of being a leader, will play a big role in education for African American males, because we have to show up as leaders.
Mm.
We don't show up as playing second fiddle. One thing you do, you learn, you observe, you learn, you listen, and then you learn how to lead. That's how you do it.
Well, I'm glad that you're going to be teaching that, because a lot of, especially African American boys, they're coming from fatherless households.
Right,
So who is showing them how to lead?
right,
Because as a mother, their mom can show, but she's still mom.
correct,
They need a man
correct,
who can show them how to lead.
correct,
A woman can't do it.
right.
So I think that's good. That's good that you're having that program. I wish do they have that like all around?
I think this is a pilot program for us.
Okay.
So just like the AP African American Studies was a pilot program. So I know they don't teach that in this state, but I'm always the pilot, the test pilot, in my opinion. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing that. What is your vision for the future of education, specifically regarding the representation and impact of African American male teachers?
What do I see the future as? I see the future as there are a lot more African American male teachers across this country. I envision one day there will be a black Secretary of Education in this country.
Whoop whoop.
I envision, people will really look. Black males will really step up when it comes to teaching our children, and I'm not just talking about on the high school level where you see a lot, but I'm talking about on every level: high school, middle school, and then elementary school. And hopefully, let me say this too. they need to look at being in the leadership as well, because you can make a difference in the classroom, but you can make a bigger difference by being the principal, by being working in the district office, by helping becoming the decision makers, by running for school board. You know, that's how you build your community at the end of the day.
Well, I think, well, I know the African American male teachers are needed because sometimes I feel like, and it's no disrespect to other races, but I feel like they can't relate.
Mm-hmm.
I had a principal one time. I was talking to her, and she was referring to the African American young men. They were showing out,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "I feel like these boys should just have some integrity, and they should tell stuff they see." And I'm looking at her like, because here I am. I work in the criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with grown men who won't tell stuff. She didn't understand that in our environment, telling could get you killed. For some of these kids, they're coming from environments where that's drilled in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a snitch. You
Mm-hmm.
tell this can happen, this can happen.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get it. She didn't understand. You know, and I feel like that's important that we have black teachers so they can embrace these kids with a sense of understanding,
Mm-hmm.
because they understand whether they were in it or not. They still understand. And like I said, it's no disrespect to other, but sometimes they just can't relate.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, y'all black male teachers, y'all are needed. Y'all are needed in the schools. Understand that we need y'all for all children, especially ours. So for listeners who are inspired to get involved, what are some concrete actions they can take to support the increase in success of African American male teachers in their communities? What's some things we can do, Dave?
Uh, it's really hard to say. You know, teaching is rewarding job. Um, and I can't say about the money, because if it was about the money, nobody would do it. And for me, working certain jobs are not always about the money. Yeah, you want to make a living wage, you'll make a living wage, you'll do well, but it's not all about the money. It's all about seeing these kids grow. You know, and it's not necessarily saying that, hey, you have to try to get somebody to be an African American male teacher, right? I'm black, got to be a black person to be a teacher. It can be a mentor. It can be a mentor. You know, when they have a chance to mentor. I know some churches around here have mentor programs. And I don't know if we don't think we have a boys and girls club. If we did, that would be great mentoring. I don't know if the YMCA has mentoring, but you need to get with these local churches and in the local churches and these Masonic lodges and other fraternities and sororities and start mentoring these young people. Start mentoring these young people, and that's how you grow them. Um, as teachers, we can only do so much. We can do so much because sometimes we have to be hands off. How we handle situations, but if grandma, auntie, uncle, cousin, mimo, pawpaw, all in that church with them, and they help and mentor them, they can help reinforce what we're trying to do, but in a different aspect. So for me, it's all about teaching is a community based thing. It's more about the community. Is how the community has to help. And I know you asked the question about how do we help more African American males become educators. That's how. That's how. Because believe it or not, you don't have to have a BA, MED, EDS to say that you're a teacher. You know, my mom been a Sunday school teacher for 30 plus years and ain't never got nobody educational certificate. But it's how you come to a child and how you talk to them and how you present things to them. You got people that's teaching in the barbershops. You got people teaching in the beauty shops. You got people teaching, just having a conversation with them. But they all are teaching them something. at the end of the day. So again, that's how you teach is by being community based, and that creates leaders. And then they see this, and then it transfers them and say, hey, you know what? I want to do something too. I want to help lead too. I want to grow up and do this and that, and that helps prepare them one day maybe to teach also. Maybe not in the traditional way, but just in a way to teach and give back to others.
Mm. So, what's one thing you wish more people understood about the role and impact of African American male teachers?
One thing is that you know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's so much that goes through your head. Just I would just ask that they be kind to us. When I say that, just understand, and it's for any teacher that we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can. Um, we have families too. We have things going on too. So be patient with us. If we can't get something done right away or respond right away, just be patient with us because we go through a lot too. As a child goes through stuff, as your family goes through stuff, we go through stuff. I remember 6 years ago I lost my daddy, and I was working in education, and I didn't know what was going on. I mean, trying to be an educator, and that's when I realized I had to take time for myself. So, you know, be patient with us. Just really be patient with us. And like I said, it's hard for me just to single out one group of teachers, even though I am African American. But I say that in all, just be patient with us. We're gonna do the best we can. We're gonna always show up for your child. Always show up for your child, the best that we can. But just be patient with us because sometimes nobody shows up for us.
Whew. Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure in the sense of like from the parents? Because sometimes the parents are very demanding, not understanding that some stuff, yeah, you are responsible for as a
Right,
teacher,
right.
but a lot of it is their responsibility.
We try to find a balance. We try to find a balance. I'm not going to sit here and bash parents or bash teachers or whatever, but we try to find a balance. We know what we have to. We know what we have to do. We know what we can do. For me, I'm gonna email you if I can't do something. If it doesn't pertain to me, and you email me, I'm gonna forward it to the next person. Excuse me, that can help you, and I will let you know. I'm forwarding this. I'm forwarding this to so and so or Mrs. So and so. This is more of their expertise. Um, Teaching is a stressful job. Teaching is very stressful. Um, I remember when I first started, I wouldn't go to bed till like almost midnight, trying to grade papers, trying to do this, trying to do this.
Are you serious?
And that was over 20. That's over 20 years ago. So you look at it now. Things have got a little bit more simpler if you know how to do it. I prep a whole lot better. My eating habits have gotten a whole lot better. I used to just eat crap all the time. Stress eat crap all the time. But and it will take a toll on your health. Because it took a toll on mine at one time. Almost was gone. But now, just be patient. Be patient, and everything, and just everything will be great.
How about as far as the technology? Do you feel like that has helped or?
Technology has helped a lot when it comes to education. If you know what you're doing, if you know what you're doing, and they offer a lot of different courses and different trainings and things of that nature. Anybody wants to be a teacher, make sure you take this stuff. There are a lot of free courses and stuff. Take this stuff. I suggest that parents sit down with their kids if they can on a nightly basis and say, hey, what's your homework? What you got going on? Let me look at your grades. Let's look at what you're doing in Canvas or Infinite Campus, things of that nature. Let's see what you got going on. Parents, take the time. Take the time to sit down with your children on a nightly basis and say, what is going on with you today at school? What is going on with you today at school? How's your day? Ask them how their day is. Ask them how their day is. That's how you know.
What message do you have for young African American men who might be considering a career in education?
Well, if you want to consider a career in education, with me being in all these years, and to be honest with you, English, math, science. English, math, science. I say those because those will get you where you need to get as educators. Those will make you some of the most, well, they'll make you some of the best teachers out there, in my opinion. They'll make you invaluable. They'll make you invaluable. Get AP certified once you become a teacher. Like I did. Teach AP classes. College board classes. Teach. Go to elementary school. There's not a lot of us in elementary school. Go do, but just think about it. And take on any role that they offer you. Any leadership role that they offer you at that school. Take on any leadership role if you can.
Well, Dave, I just want to tell you thank you. We've been friends for many years, even though I might not get to talk to you all the time because life be happening.
Right.
I've never forgotten all the things that you've done for me. And I'm grateful to have you as my friend. And I appreciate everything that you do. Because like I said, Black African American teachers are needed.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you've been doing this like 20 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
with all the struggles and all of the challenges that it presents, you still showing up for these babies. And I'm grateful for that.
Yep.
And I love you and I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
And to my audience, I want to tell y'all, make sure y'all like and subscribe.